G'day folks, it's Andy here from Aussie Homesteads. Doing some work today on some wind generators. I've made another video on wind generators, but I thought I'd just touch upon some diagrams and try and explain it a little bit more, because I've had a few people ask me questions about how do you get 12 volts out of a washing machine motor. Now, I'll just do a quick recap for you. These are the stators out of a Fisher & Paykel direct drive washing machine. And generally, as a rule, there's 36 of these. So there's 36 windings per motor. Not all of them have 36, but most of them have 36. The ones that I pick up off the side of the street happen to have had 36. And what we did was we rewired it. These are high voltage, so when you spin this part here in the washing machine, these can produce 240 volts or 300, up to 300 volts. We don't want high voltage. What we want is low voltage. So we're going to rewire one, and we're going to show you how to do that. And what we're going to do then is take the 3 phases that come out, put them into what's called a bridge rectifier. You can get these on eBay for about 10 bucks. And what a bridge rectifier does is it converts the AC that comes out of it into DC. So you'll see there's 3 wires going in, because we're going to group them off of these 3 points. So we end up with 3 phases, and we convert the 3 phases into usable DC voltage. So what comes out of then 2 wires, you'll see you've got a positive and a negative. What comes out of these 2 wires then is basically something that you can charge a battery with, and that's what we're trying to do, build a wind generator to charge a series of batteries. So let's have a look at this diagram. Now this diagram here, if you want to take a quick screenshot of it, you'll see that I've color-coded it with green, blue and red. And that green, blue and red corresponds to the green, blue and red on this stator. I've color-coded them so it makes it easy. Remember, there's 36 of these. So I've numbered them 1, 2, 3. And of course they go green, blue, red, then green, blue, red, all the way right around to number 36. And of course number 36 will be the red, because it's the last one in the series. And the ends of them all terminate on that point there. So we need to pick up from there and there. So what we're going to do is bridge that so that they're all 3 wires are joined together, and we're going to draw our power from these points. So the power basically runs around and around and around and around in 3 groups of 12, and then it terminates. So let's go back to our diagram over here. So what we've got was we start our starting point. It's actually upside down. Let me spin it around for you. Alright, so let's have a look at this point here. We've got green, blue and red. That 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you keep going around, you can number them all the way to 36. Remember how we said that 36 finishes on the red? Exactly the same thing here. So that 36 one is the red one on that diagram, and this is number 1, number 2, number 3. So go back to this diagram again, and you'll see now that the greens all go to 1 wire. Green to 1 wire. Green to 1 wire. You'll see that the blues all go to 1 wire. The middle wire, blue. Blue goes to the blue wire. Blue. And then the reds. Red. And we'll end up with, of course this one's buried in silicon, but you can imagine there's 3 wires running around in there. 1, 2, 3. And of course they represent these 3 wires here. So all of them are grouped by colour into 1 wire. Then what we'll end up with is coming out of the end block, which is this point here, we will end up with these 3 wires. And it doesn't matter which way you do 3-phase. You could plug the green, see there's a green and a brown and a blue. You could put the green in the middle, you could put the blue on there. It just doesn't matter. 3-phase doesn't care. So this bridge rectifier, which is $10, is rated to 35 amps at 1000 volts. Now, what we're trying to do is take 240 volts in Australia, because we run at 240 volts, and convert it down to 12 volts by rewiring these into smaller groups. So we're breaking it down into smaller groups. So this is the magnetic part, and that's the bit that spins on the washing machine. It excites these coils. When you excite the coils, you produce electricity. This is a generator. So we're generating electricity. If we were to put power into the coil, this part would spin and we would have a motor. But we don't want a motor. We want this part stationary, this part spinning, and we want to produce voltage out of here that's regulated. Okay, so let's go and see just a recap as to how we mounted these things. This is the bottom off of a Fisher & Paykel washing machine. If I cut the bowl out, cut this bottom off right here, and you're left with the agitator shaft. That goes backwards, forwards, washing, does all your washing, right? Now these are direct drive, but you'll notice that at the bottom point is the spline for marking that part that I'll show you in a minute, called the rotor, and the stator goes on these 4 bolts, and it's stationary. It doesn't move. So let's show you how to assemble that part. I'll just chuck one together. I won't actually bolt it together, but you'll get the idea. That stator, or bunch of electrical coils, goes onto there, right? And it gets mounted onto there. And it's stationary. It doesn't move. The 3 wires would be coming out of here, and the bridge rectifier will be mounted down here. I'll show you that in a second. Now, if we were to get this magnetic part here, this is the bit that turns. And that bit, of course, you'll see that the spline in there matches the spline on there. And that part goes on there. And it goes backwards, forwards. That's what washes your clothes. Okay? Now we want to similarly do the same thing. We want the shaft to be able to turn. Okay? I think I'll get rid of this. We want this shaft to turn the magnets to excite the stator, which is exactly what we're trying to do. So this is the one that I'm going to cut. And I'm going to take you along for the ride. I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to do them in parts. So I'll call this part 1, because this is really the setup. This is how you start with it, and this is how you finish it. And this is what you'll end up with. There's 3 wires coming out of here. And all of these will be joined into groups and then terminated. And you'll see as it makes more sense as we go along. Alrighty, so the basic principle of making electricity from these things is this spins, this stays still. Okay, so back to our diagram again. So now what we've done is we've colour coded them. So you'll see that I've terminated one end of each coil together. Now whether you terminate them at this point or you terminate them at this point makes no difference. And I will take you through these. We will go through and cut these wires in groups, and I will show you how to join them together to make a 12-volt wind generator. So the whole principle now, what we're trying to do is we want this bit to be fixed to somewhere. So it can be fixed probably this way up would be the best way. But that way all the windings are underneath and it's waterproof. So the water should shed off of there, and we'll have to weld like a bicycle wheel or something to here. And then we're going to put drums on the bicycle wheel and we're going to spin this around. Now there's a fair bit, once this comes under load, there's a fair bit of force there because you've got electrical resistance from all of those coils. So we need to overcome that. So we need like half of 20-litre drums, all welded, cut in half, and then welded to the bicycle wheel so it spins around. But I'll go through all that later on. Let's just go through the basics for starters. Okay, so now what we've got is, back to our diagram, we're going to cut, in part 2, we're going to follow this diagram, and we're going to bring it over here, and I'm going to take a fresh motor, or a fresh stator, and we're going to end up with this, okay? But I'll take you along for the ride. Now remember, the first thing you do is find the first point. So here is the green one, here is the blue one, and here is the red one. And if you follow them down, you'll notice that the green one goes into the first coil and then shoots off that direction. The blue one, which is here, you'll see the copper wire goes down, round and round and round and round, and then it shoots off that direction. The red one does the same. The wire goes down, goes round the coil a number of times. These have all got set numbers. I think it's like 72 windings or whatever it is per each one of these coils. So we'll get back to you on part 2. I'll see you then.